Hey Todd, I feel like after our email and saying that the shoulder gets a little sore after the rehab and that was causing a little bit of discomfort, especially as you want to add miles or yardage in the pool, I feel like I owe you a video to kind of reset things. I went back and I went over our first appointment together and I watched kind of that exercise video plan that I'd sent out, and I wanted to kind of get my head space back to where we were that first one. And really the conclusion that I had at that day was that there was not a significant right to left difference in structure, anatomy, and overall strength and mobility with the right shoulder versus left shoulder, which I think was later confirmed with the MRI that, just had some mild issue there. Was not a great deal, but I did have 3 moves that I felt like the right side could be better at compared to the left side. One was the rotating on the knee. That is, especially in swimming, that's going to be a pretty big culprit there if that guy's weak. One was the behind the back push off, whether you can push into a wall or you can just actively do it like this. I'm not sure where that deficit lies today. It's something you can try out. And then the third one was the sleeper stretch, a little tight, where you lie down, you elbow out at 90, and then you push down and get a really good stretch deep in the shoulder there. I know you had talked about going back and adding kind of one thing at a time. Those 3, and again, if those were the biggest deficit 6 months ago, presumably for me, those are the 3 to keep looking at, because that's where, when you swim a lot of yards, those are the ones that your shoulder does not love or seems to revert the most. So in order of difficulty there, that's probably the stretch, the sleeper stretch on your side would probably be the easiest to kind of get back into. Again, only promote these if you feel that difference left to right, all right? So do those sleeper stretch on the right, do the sleeper stretch on the left. If the right side is still stiffer and tighter when you do that stretch, I would promote that still. Very casually, we're not beating these up, we're not trying to break it apart, but I would add that if you feel like the right side's still missing it, because again, the MRI shows that there's still just a little bit of a tendonitis in those areas. The second one for me, going from easy to hard, would be the push off. I think we did that kind of into the wall. So hand behind you can do like little push-ups. It's actually a little bit harder when you're starting to push body weight. So maybe where we start is just get it behind and just push. No movement, just an isometric, just push into the wall. Try the other arm, push into the wall. If you don't feel a difference, great, don't worry about it too much. But again, if you feel like the right one is even a little bit less strength, or you feel a little popping or catching, or you don't quite have the same oomph as the left, I would add that back in slowly and comfortably. And then the last one's going to be the rotation on the knee. My fear with all of these, going back to our first session, was overtraining it. I don't want to do, none of these should be 50 reps. None of these should be 3 sets of 20, nothing like that. I want you to do 10 to 15 reps, get in, get out, call it. We just want to wake these muscles up. We're not trying to over fatigue them. The problem with distance swimming is they get very fatigued in the water, and then when we start to adding stuff on land, we have to be really smart, extra smart about it. This isn't like a football player lifting weights. This is a little different. So those are the 3 that I would get back to. I know we did some other stuff down the road, some bigger band and Ys and all these movements, but I would still look at those 3 and see if you still have a right to left difference. If you do, address it. If not, probably not a lot of need for these 3. These are just corrective exercises only. The other thing I'm gonna ask you to do is just look at your recovery. We've talked about this before, where you can put the work in and you do all the preparatory reps and you hit your yardage in the pool and you're great until you're not, and then post-pool, not enough stretching, not enough icing, not enough days in between. Again, we need to treat some of these longer swims like they are the Super Bowl, and there needs to be prep and there needs to be recovery. I think you're just a little too much yardage too quickly a lot of the time. So I'm gonna have you just obviously just kind of self-assess that. That's a little harder for me to do because I'm not with you after those swims. But you know, we're worried about exercising and the rehab, but also we got to worry about the recovery and icing and all that jazz. So make sure you're doing good there. But try these 3. Let me know how they go. If you say, oh, yeah, that one's still quite a bit weaker on the right than the left, then I'm gonna say go do that going forward. If you try these 3 and there's not a big difference, and you think your recovery is still good, and we're still having some pain, then yeah, I'd love to get another look at you, man. I don't want this one to get too far ahead of us. I'm not ready to call this one finished yet. So try that for me. I'm very curious now. I'm all in on this, man. Keep me posted, and hopefully we'll talk soon. All right, take care, Tom. Bye.